So when you go to the username password format, it's called username password authentication flow. So in this format, what is the request we are sending? First, request for the access token. You are sending the request for the access token by sending your username password. I am going to send my username password and ask you to submit your access token. Once it verifies my username password, if everything is okay, then it gives you access token. Once it sends an access token, then I will send a request to access my resource. So what is the format we have? First, a request for the access token. When you want to request for the access token, what are the credentials you are giving? Username, password of the organization. If you provide the username, password of the organization, that is going to verify the credentials. If the credentials are verified, that is going to send an access token. Once it sends an access token to you, then request for the resource. Request for the resource. When you are requesting for the resource, the format of your request is this. What was this? login.salesforce.com login.salesforce.com/service over token. If you send a request to this, what type of request you have to send? Post request. What type of request you are sending? Post request. And what are the parameters you are sending? Granted, password, client ID, consumer key, client secret, consumer secret, username, password. When you send these following parameters, then you are going to get what? Access token, instance URL, ID, issued, signature. This is the response what you are going to get. Once you get the response, then request for the resource. Once you get the response, request for the resource. This is the flow of authentication using username password. This is the flow using authentication using username password. Let me show you the diagram representation. Once again, I will explain the username password format. Then we'll do an example. So in the username password format, I have two people involved. One is the server, other one is the client. Server, we have authentication provider. Then we have a client. When you say client, we are going for a client. So when you are going for a client, now what the client is going to do? First in the server, we have to create connected app. In the server, we are going to create connected app. If you are creating a connected app, we are going to get consumer key, consumer secret. So in the server, what I am creating? Connected app. Once you create a connected app, what are the credentials you are getting? Consumer key, consumer secret. Then in the server, we have to create a username password for a client. In the server, we have to create a username password for the client. Username. Then create a resource what you want to access. Create a resource what you want to access. So create a resource what you want to access. Resource 1. Resource 1, resource 2. Now on the server side what we have? One connected app which will give you consumer key, consumer secret. In the server side what we have? Username password for the client. For the client we are created to create one username password. Then we are going to have resource 1, resource 2. Now what the client want? Client want to access resource 1 and resource 2. The client want to access resource 1 and resource 2. Now go back to this. Client is sending a request. Client is sending a request to the authorization server. Now, how he is going to send the request? Authorization. By sending what? Consumer key and consumer secret. Server is going to provide the following details to client. Right now, what the client have? In the client location, what are the values we have? Contact, username. Server is going to share the following credentials. right? It is going to share username, password. Now, when the client has the client ID, client secret, username, password given from server. The server is providing client ID, client secret, username, password. Now, client is sending a request using consumer key and consumer secret using username. By sending the username, password, send a request to the authorization server. It is going to verify client ID, client secret, username, password, which was sent from the client. Then, if everything is matching, the authorization provider is going to provide access token. It is going to send a request to you. Send an access token. One is send a access token. What we are doing? What is send a access token? Then request for the resource. How are you requesting the resource? Requesting the resource. We are requesting the resource. How are you requesting the resource? By using access. Send an access token and request for. Is that was clear? So first, in the server side, what should I create? Connected app. In the server side, what should I create? User. One user with username, password. And we are going to have resource. This is a requirement what we have on the server side. On the client side, we are making a request to the server with the consumer key, consumer secret, username, password. Once you send these details, then he is going to send back the access token. Send the access token and request for the resource. This is the flow what we need to make it. Now, look at this account. This is your integration account. Now I am trying to log into one more Salesforce account. First I try to integrate from Salesforce to Salesforce. Now we got the data. This is one organization, this is the other organization. Now, I want to request the data from HDFC, I want to send it to the other application. So whatever the data that is available in this organization, this I want to access in the integration account. So to access, what should I do? First create a connected app. How do you create a connected app? Setup. How do you create a connected app? Setup, build, create apps. Then we have connected app. New connected app. Create the connected app. So right now I am giving connected app. Give the contact email ID. Then you want to give any logo for the image, you can choose that. Right now I am leaving them blank. Then enable what? Watch it. When you are creating a connected app, how are you creating? Once again, setup, so build, create, go with apps, new connected apps, '94. Then come back to this, enable. Now callback URL. To which page I have to give the response. Right now I am giving callback URLs ap5.salesforce.com/epic/ I give some callback URL. Response will go to the page of the client. Whichever the page we have given, this is the page of the client. This is the page of the client to which I have to send a response. Right now in this example, we are not going to use callback URL. You can give it dummy. Then what is the scope? You are allowing this person to accept the data. You are allowing this person to accept the basic information like ID, email, phone number like this. Or you are allowing this person to access them. custom application, Visual Force pages. What do you want to access? I told full access. I told full access. Then come back. So I have created a connected app, enable the OAuth, given the full access for the connected app. Once you've given this, it will take some time to create the credentials. Right. So my credentials are created. What is this? Consumer key, consumer secret. Consumer key, consumer secret. These are the credentials what I give. Now, let us go back to this. This is the organization. Now in the Salesforce, we are going to create. This is what? Integration account. This is a client. Okay, this is the service provider. Who is your client? Integration account is the client. From the client, I am making a request. What was this? Client ID, client secret. Public. Then I have public string JSON. First I will go with the JSON response. Then we have public string access. I require a client ID, client secret, username, password. You are going to get a response from which I am going to take access token. First, let us make a request. How are you making a request? Public void get token. We want request for the access token. If you want to request for the access token, HTTP equal to. Then we are going to take HTTP request. Request dot set. Set endpoint. What is the endpoint we have? Now, endpoint is go back to the documentation. In the documentation, what they told? Send a request to. If anybody is making a request to Salesforce, if you are trying to send a request to the Salesforce, if the service provider is a Salesforce, if the service provider is a Salesforce, this is the format of request. Then what is the endpoint? I have given this endpoint. Then I have request dot send. Okay. Send. Now, initially I will go with the making a body of this request dot set method. Set method. What is the method? If it is a post, what should I do? Whatever the data you want to send, that has to be sent in the body. What is the data you want to send? Look at the documentation. Grant type. Grant type equal to. What is the value they ask you to give? Grant type equal to ampersand. What is the second parameter? Client ID. Client ID equal to whatever the client ID we are passing, that client ID have to take it. The next body equal to body plus ampersand. What is the second parameter we have? Body equal to body plus ampersand. What is the next parameter we have? Plus ampersand. Like this. So we are going to get a client ID, client secret, username, password. Now the question is, I don't find secured when I'm giving hard-coded values. I am not finding it secured when I'm taking a hard-coded values. As I'm not feeling secured while taking a hard-coded values, what I want to do, I want to take custom object. I want to take a custom object, store all my credentials in the custom object, from which I write a query and get the value. So what I'm going to do, create a custom object. Setup. Because I told you, it's not a good practice to hard code the values. Go with the schema builder. Then create a custom object here. So what I'm going to say, uh, take text. Save it. Then I'm going to take username, password, client ID, client secret. So first let me go with the text. Client ID, client secret, username, password. I create a custom object. Then I create a tab and enter the data. Create. You got the server side, server data. Then the server data, enter your data here. Why the fields are not displayed? If you create them using a schema builder, the fields are not added to the label. So which is the best option? Creating the fields using schema builder or standard navigation? Always it's a good practice to go with the schema builder. Build the schema builder, then go with the controlling your values using security controllers. First create all the fields using schema builder, then go to the field level security, control the fields. Go to the server, then new, you got the client ID, client secret, text area, username, password. So first I'm going to say client ID. What is your client ID? Starting with 3, ending with T. Client secret, that's 297. We entered client ID, client secret, username, password. This is the data what I created. Now instead of entering the values manually, so what I'm going to do, I don't want to enter the values manually. I will take the data from maps. So you write the query. How do you write the query? Server data. Select. Now you are going to give the data again. Client ID, it is sc dot client ID underscore underscore c. Client secret, sc dot So I written a sample query, I include the data. Instead of entering the values, hard-coded values, instead of entering the hard-coded values, I am taking the values from database. So next, what I'm going to do? Request dot set body. Now we got a endpoint URL, we got a method, we got the body of the request. Then we are going to send a request. How do you send the request? HTTP response. Response equal to p dot send. Then we are going to get a response. JSON response equal to response dot. This is the first query what we are done. So what was that? HTTP response. Okay. Any query clear? So what was this? As per the documentation, I followed the documentation. Web service is more of documentation. I went to the documentation, seeing what is the URL to which I have to make a request, what is the mode of the request, then what are the parameters I have to pass, what are the response I am getting. That response I want to display in the Visual Force. Right now I am initiating from Visual Force page, later on we will make it for trigger. So value, get token, action, get token. Then I want to display JSON response. The first request we are making. We are making a first request. Here we have endpoint URL, method, body. Then we are getting the sending a request, getting the response. If you want to make a request, always the third party URL should be registered with the remote site setting. Then go to the remote site setting, setup, security controllers. Where is the security controllers? Remote site settings. Remote site settings. New remote site setting. Right. Everything is set. Now go back to the page. Have a preview. Get the token. Invalid. Grant. Error description. Authentication failure. Why the authentication failure? Let us see the code. Grant type equal to password. Client ID equal to client ID. Client secret equal to client secret. Username equal to username. Password equal to password. In the password, I need to use the security token. In the password, we are not using the security token. So go to the profile. Administrator. Right. So go back to this. Now what did you get? Access token. So in the password, you have to give security token also. In the password plus security token. Password plus security token. As I am not given the security token, what did I do? I went to the client. Okay, server organization enabled IP address. Enabled IP address. Is that was clear? So what type of response we received? What type of response we received? Access token. Now out of this response, we received access token. From this, what should I receive? Access token. How do you receive the access token? Response is coming in the JSON format. From the JSON format, we need to take access token. So if you want to take access token, look at the format. System dot response while jp dot not equal to null, and if jp dot get text equal to access token, jp dot get text equal to access token, then we are going to say jp dot access token equal to jp dot. This is what? Find out if the current token equal to access token. If the current token equal to access token, followed by what we have? Value of the access. If the current token is access token, move the cursor to the next line, get the token. Move the cursor to the next line, get the token. Move the cursor to the next line and get the token. This is what we are getting. Pass the data and print the access token. We want to take only access token instead of JSON response. I want to give. So what was the first request? Request for access token. So go back to this page. Get what did I receive? Access token. This access token I have to use to retrieve the data of whatever I want. This access token I have to use to retrieve the data of whatever I want. So look at the format. If you go to the HDFC application, what are the objects that we have in this application? Create objects. What we have? Admin videos, branch, codes, employee, loan, payment. These are the group of objects what we have. Now my request is, I want to make a request to the third party, retrieve all the data that is there in the third party. I want to retrieve all the data that is there in the third party. Look at this. Workbench. First request is clear. Client ID, client secret, username, password I have sent. Response came to me in the form of JSON. Once I received the response in the form of JSON, then what did I do? I parsed the JSON, received the access token. Once you got the access token, I have to make a request for the resource. First step is only authentication. Our intention is for what? Requesting the resource. If you want to request the resource, we need to go for authentication. We have only just completed the authentication process. Now we are making a request for data. So go back to this. I gave a URL. So what are you getting here? List of application. No, you don't want this. You don't want to do this. In this, I want to get a list of what you want to take. So, list of tabs. When you make a query, we're getting a list of tabs. All these are list of tabs we receive. We'll take a tabs to receive. What is the type of response we got here? This is the type of response we received. Content type image, height, theme, URL, content type image, height, theme. We have a lot of response coming here. In this, we want to find out the tab name. So, first let us get the response. So, in the response, what are we finding? Label. The response, what I am finding? Come back. Label, color, label, employee. So, we have the response. So, first let me make a request to this URL, get the response. Let me make a request to this URL. So, if you make a request to this URL, it is going to give you list of tabs available in the server. In the server, what are the list of tabs are there? They are going to be retrieved. So, how we are going to make a request? Public void then I am making a request. How are you making a request? HTTP equal to request dot set endpoint What is the default we have? ap5.salesforce.com/ make a request to this. What type of request is this? Request dot set method. Method is get. Request set the method. Then we are going to get a response. My response is going to come in HTTP response request dot set authorization. What did I receive? What I'm going to pass? Access. Whatever the access token we receive, whatever the access token we receive, that access token I am passing as what? Authorization. Whatever the access token we received, that access token we are passing as authorization. Boss, authorize me using this access token, give me the response whatever I want. HTTP response equal to p dot send. Then I'm going to give JSON response equal to response dot get. Look at the format. So the request I am sending, this is the default URL, method is get, authorize me using this and give me the list of tabs which are available. And I'm going to call it get tabs. Here, there is a possibility of getting one error called content type error. So let me finish this. There is a possibility of getting an error called content type. Basically, Salesforce is going to accept content type as JSON. Let us execute. So, get token. Preview. So what happened? We received response. Now response is in which format? JSON format. In this response, we need to know where is my tab name. This is a response. We made a request to third party and we received the entire response here. In the response, we want to know where is the label name. So I am going to give. Look at the point. If you observe the label equal to loans, label equal to payments, label equal to courses, label equal to employees. So labels are nothing but tab names. Labels are nothing but tab names. So list of my label names are nothing but my tab names. So what should I do? Once you got the JSON response, pass the JSON response and create them like a pick list. List of select option. Then what I'm going to give was, I want to parse it. How do you parse it? Again, system dot JSON JP. JSON parser JP. JSON dot. So while not equal to null, JP dot get text equal to. So out of the JSON, whatever the data you want, you have to retrieve it. Then if what should I do now? JP dot next token. Then we need to go with the create select option. Okay, fine. We'll take it string s equal to JP dot, then select option OP equal to select option. I create a pick list, then options dot system dot JSON dot create parcel. Now, what did I do in this case, boss? First request is getting the access token. Second request is getting all the tabs. Whatever the tabs we received, we want to create them as a pick list options, and I want to display in the VM page. Now I don't want to store all this story now. I'll simply give one render it. Show me this pick list when the options are not equal to null. So I have a preview of this. I made a single option, get token. Then we received admin videos, loans, payments, courses, all the stuff. Is that was clear? So where are these videos? Now look at this. So what are the objects we got? Reports. We have. Look at the object. Employee, courses, payments, loans, admin videos. So do you have those objects here? Go back to this object and see. Setup. This is your integration account. If you look at the integration account, do you have those objects? We have employee, product info, service data. But this is not having the data about courses, all these things. So what is the data I received here? Admin videos, loans, payments. Are these objects are available? These objects are available where? In the HDFC account. So what did I do? From your integration account, I made a call to the HDFC account, retrieved all the names of the tabs from the organization, displayed in this organization. So how did I connect to these organizations? How did I connect to these two organizations? By using authentication using username password. By using authentication using username password. I will create one more example. This time I will make a request to the organization, get the data. I will make a request to the organization, get the list of all the objects. I will make a request to the organization, get the data about all the objects. Right. So let us see how to make a request to this. Next one. One more time I am making the request. First of all, what are the data you require? I got username, password, client ID, client secret. Username, password, client ID, client secret. Already this data is available where? Server data. Already I have stored the credentials in a object called server data. In the server data custom object, already I have stored the data. So what I am going to get? First, access token. Then, first request for the access token. How do you request? Now look at the request format. What we are going to do? HTTP request equal to HTTP request dot set endpoint. When you want to take a set endpoint, where is the endpoint? Go to the Salesforce documentation. The documentation they give the endpoint. So it's all about the documentation. Set the endpoint. What type of method is that? Request dot set. And then what type of method is this? Now you want to pass. What are the credentials I have to pass? Service data, server data, select client ID, I wrote a query, I received the data. Then I have to pass the create a body. How do you create a body? Body equal to what is the first parameter we have to pass? Grant type equal to ampersand. What is the second parameter we have to pass? Where is your client ID? Client ID is sd dot. Then your body. Body equal to body plus ampersand. Body equal to body plus. So we have username. It's a case sensitive. There's a reason I'm copy pasting it. It's a case sensitive. If any parameter mismatch, again we need to write entire code. So username, body equal to body plus ampersand, password. So we have found. So body format is found. Grant type password, client ID, client secret, username, password. Now we have to set the body. How do you set the body? Request dot set body. I have set the body. Once I have set the body, then what should I do, boss? I have to set a request. Request HTTP equal to HTTP response equal to p dot send. When you send a request, we are going to get a response. In the response, what do you want to take? I want to retrieve access token. Once you got the response, I have to serialize it. I have to deserialize it to get the response. Access token from the response. How do you give access token? System dot JSON parser. JSON dot get response dot body of the response. I have to pass it. Body. Now what I'm doing here? You have to pass the result. So is that was clear for everyone? Everyone followed? If it is a username password format, client ID, client secret, username, password. If you make a request, what are you going to get? Access token. So while jp dot next token not equal to, if the next token is not equal to null, then we are going to take what we need. If current token is equal to access token. If the current token is access token, my value will be in the next position. What is my value? The access token equal to. Right. We need to apply one more next, right? jp dot move the cursor to the next position and take that value as. This is my object. Now you want to display this access token in the VF page. All objects. Right. What's the problem? Not interested, move off. Right. So go back. You are paying the money and learning. So learn it sincerely. Now go for a preview. So what will happen? Get the token. So when you said get token, we received access token. So is that was clear for everyone? Clear? Any query from anyone? So we are sending a request. Give it the username, password. What is the format we have to give? Client ID, client secret, username, password. Grant type will be password. So if you send a request to this, what is the format of your request? Post. What is the format of your request? Post request. Send the request to this using client ID, client secret, username, password. Then we are going to get a response. From the response, build the access token. Now once I receive the access token, now I have to make a request for data. What is the data I want? I want to receive the objects. So if I want to receive the objects, we have a URL here. So what is the URL? I want to receive all the object names. All the objects which are there in the organization, I want to get all the object names. So here we have S objects. When you go to the S objects, we are going to get a list of objects which are in the target organization. So we got a list of S objects. So here we are able to see all the object names. See here we are getting all the list of object name, product info, all the type of object names you are getting. Now here, where is the object name? The response is coming in the form of what? Content type is application JSON. Now it is coming in the JSON. In the JSON, I want to receive this. What was this? I want to receive the object name. What is the object name? Look at the format. It's objects. Custom object. No, it's not a custom object. Then we are going to find label. What was that? Label. Label. If you want to know only custom object, you can also check custom. Label, custom. Label, custom. Label, custom. Are you getting my point? So let me check out here. There are two labels, label and custom. So here I am going to make a request. How do you make a request? Public void get objects. So how do you make a request now? Now we need to make a request for the resource. This is the second request we are making. First request is receive the access token. Now requesting the resource. Now go back to this. Request dot set endpoint. Now my endpoint is ap5.salesforce.com/salesforce.com. What is the endpoint URL? These are predefined URLs for charters, for accessing the metadata. Salesforce has already defined some URLs. Request dot set method get method. Then we are going to get a response. HTTP request. Then we are going to get a response. How do you get the response? String result equal to response dot get word. Now the response is coming in which format? The response is coming in which format? The response is coming in the form of. The response is coming in the form of. It's in the form of JSON. The response will come to you in the form of JSON. Once you got the JSON, now you want to get all the object names or you want to get only custom object names. If you say if you want to get a custom object names, if you want to say custom object names, then what should I do? Check out if it is custom. If the custom, where are you getting the label? So there are so many parameters here. So what should I do? So if I want to deserialize this data, okay, let me show the all the objects, then come back to getting the custom objects. We need to deserialize. Because a lot of data we are getting. So let me get only custom. Okay, let me get all the objects first. System.json. JSON.create parser. while jp dot not equal to null, while jp dot not next token not equal to null, then I'm going to check if jp dot next token right get text. Now shall I check the customer label? If I take a custom, so let me try with the custom. If the current token is a custom token, then while jp dot okay, while jp dot next token equals to or not equals to, if the current token is a custom, if the current token is a custom, and if current token is a custom and jp dot what is my next token? Right. Wait, pause. Now what we got? It's a custom. Is it a custom object or standard object? So it is going to come as what? Boolean value. So we are going to take boolean b equal to jp dot get as. So we have get as boolean value. Okay. You will say custom. Your label is custom. After the custom, what are you getting? A response. The response is coming as true or false. The response is coming as true or false. Then I'm saying, if the current token is custom, find out it's a true or false. If it is a true, if b equal to true, what does it mean? It's a custom object. If it's a custom object, then what should I do? Run the loop until you get label name. Find out that find out the current token is a custom. If it is a custom, then find out that there is a custom object or a standard object. If it is a custom object, then find out the next token. What is the next token? While jp dot next token not equal to, the loop will run until the jp dot next token not equal to label. Until the next token is label, okay, not equal to label, it will run. Once it is not equal to label, it will run. Once it is equal to label, what happens? If it is not equal to label, it will run. Or else, equal to null means automatically it stop. Get into the loop. Okay. So while jp dot next token not equal to label, not equal to label, run this. Then once it is equal to label, it will come out. Once it come out, then I'm going to say jp dot next token. Then create a select option op select option. Then add it to options dot. We'll run it. If any error is there, we can rectify it. So what is the option we got here? So I don't want to get all the objects. I want to get only custom object mix. If you want to get only objects, simply say label equal to label, then get the name. But I want to get only custom objects. As I want to get only custom objects, I am running this logic. Objects equal to new list of select option. So what we have equal to custom object, then jp dot next token, boolean b equal to get a boolean value. Then we have if b. Did I use b anywhere? What was the bug here? See, mixing floor bracket. Where is the floor bracket missing? Floor. Line number 40. Next token. Still, if b equal to true, then be equal to true. So comparison of argument, JSON is token comma string. Okay, token comma string. Compare it token comma string. JSON token comma string at line number 39. Line number 39. Okay, sorry. Next we have select option and I give objects. So what is the select option? I didn't get the token string is equal to jp dot get text. So we have received all the parameters. Then I will call get object. Why did I change my name of this? Because there I give what? Object. There I give what? Quick list name as object. So whenever you say somebody is calling objects, then it is going to call get objects. In the VF page, if I display objects, it is going to call get objects. To avoid that, I will change my name. So we need to go for a quick list, create a quick list here. So some label we are getting a false, be equal to true, with a custom label equal to true, then check get text. If it is not equal to label, then I have to run it. Go back to the token again, get token. Still the same bug. So what may be the bug here? Get text equal to label. If it is not equal to label, fine, get to the next token. In the next token, we are going to get sp dot get text, select option, s comma s, objects dot add. Okay. So my parsing is somewhere, my parsing is wrong. Let me cross check my parsing once again. If it is custom, let me check. If it is a custom object, label equal custom. Maybe my response is not coming in the same order what I am expecting. Now I have taken a response from this. Considering this response I made it. Considering this response I made it. Now what is the response I am getting on the UI? What is the response I am getting on the UI? Again I need to check that response again. Right. We are unwanted making complex. Right. Let me make it simple first. So what we are going to do? What all this stuff? We can spend the time in parsing the data and getting the data. So I don't want to spend much time on it now. So what I'm doing here, if jp dot get text label there is one mistake we have done. What is the mistake? Request dot authorization. Authorization. War. As I didn't pass the access token, as I didn't pass the access token, the authorization may be failed. Without writing any debugging code, I just gave you. Without keeping any debug statements, I'm just making a single attempt. So I thought thing will work perfectly. Right. What are the objects we received? Admin videos, branch, codes, employee, loan, payment, and storage. We received only custom objects. We received only custom objects. So what was the bug I have made? Second time when I'm requesting, I didn't pass my access token. As you didn't pass the access token, the response didn't come. The authorization failed. The authorization failed. So the parsing loop, whatever we wrote, is working fine, but I didn't pass the authorization token. So look at the code, any code. See, the parsing code what I am writing depends upon the response. There is no fixed format. According to the parsing, check out the parsing logic, make it. So as per the response we are getting, see how can you parse it and parse it. There is no fixed logic. Only we know that next token will give you next token. Then find out as per your business requirement how do you get the data. As per your business requirement, how do you get the data? You have to apply. As per the response I received, I took if it is a custom object, then get the label and keep the previous value. This is my requirement. As per your requirement, you have to parse as per the business requirement. You have to parse the data as per the business requirement. So did you follow this request again? What is the format I made? First I made client ID, client secret, username, password. I made a request, then I got access token. Then one mistake will be coming. What is the mistake? Password with security token. If you don't pass the security token, there you have to enable IP address. The second one, once you got the response, we made a request to the third party where we need to give authorization or access token. Then we are going to get a response, pass the response. The mistake I have done here is I didn't pass the authorization token. That's why the first time when I made a request, it failed. It came with the empty pick list. If I might have kept any debug file and checked the log files, I might have found out. But I didn't give any system.debugs for testing it. I thought like things will work perfect in a single click. So I just gave straight away code. Right. But if I might have kept the system.debug and verified the log file, we would have traced out the error. But now we found that there is an access token is the mistake. I have reset the access token. Clear boss? Clear for everyone? So what is this process of authentication called? Username, password. What username, password. What username, password. Is that was clear for everyone? Clear for everyone? Chalo. Let us go to the next format of authentication. If everyone has followed this, we'll go for next step of authentication. Right, boss? Is that was clear for everyone? Okay. Let us go to the next format of authentication. Now, we'll go to the second format of authentication. What is the second format of authentication? It is a web server authentication. Web server authentication. Now, if you are recognizing the user with the username password, then I'll go with username password format. Now, Facebook is there. That Facebook user want to authenticate himself. Facebook is allowing you to authenticate yourself. Now, we have done yesterday, last session, authenticate logging into the Salesforce with the Facebook username password. So, there, how the Facebook is authenticating you? Based on your username password. Now, there are number of users. For every user, there will be no common credentials. Every user will have their own credential. In that case, I will go with username password. But if two organizations want to connect, it is not the user. Two organizations want to connect, two applications want to connect, it's only one click, right? Then the credentials are going to be same. Then I will not be going for username password, I will go in for OAuth credentials. I will go in for what? OAuth credentials. If you want to maintain the credentials secretly, if you take a responsibility of transferring the credentials secretly over the network, then we will go for username password format. Boss, I don't want to take a headache of maintaining your credentials secretly, then I will go for what? Web server authentication. What is the second format of authentication? Web server authentication. Is that was clear for everyone? Right. So online people, can you reconnect?